Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Factorio! As you can see in between episodes here, I just kept upgrading sort of the copper infrastructure, really, and really expanding our capacity to hold on to that stuff. All the actual copper smelting has been replaced with steel smelting, or steel furnaces now, so they're going a lot faster, and these things have all been replaced with red circuits. But then we've got that, and I've got it set up so that we're loading both sides of the train, just to get that throughput as high as frickin' possible, because it turns out we really need it. Obviously, our actual bus is being 100% fed over here, and actually, we've got a fair backlog of copper in these boxes. I suspect that this will start to backlog a little bit more, but at some point in the not-too-distant future, when we load more trains over here, we're definitely still going to want at least double this functionality, if not substantially more going forward. I mean, in terms of just, you know, the minimum of what we need to win, probably just doubling this is actually going to be surprisingly okay, but probably still a little short on what we could do. Anyway, this is being mined pretty quickly. We're going to go through it soon. But the next thing I want to show, actually, while I'm driving while talking again and not paying attention, is the fact that our iron smelting is being starved pretty regularly. What the hell am I hitting there? Oh, a little electric pole. Alright, I got it. Excellent. I was going to say, I got to replace everything with big poles, and what a good time to do a wee bit of that over here, because, come on. Let's get rid of you, replace you with that, and then get you over here. There we go. Everything's still connected. Anyway, iron ore is a little shy. This is set up fine, because we're unloading it quite quickly, but you can see it quickly runs out of stuff. So what we got to do is take a look at where we are loading our iron ore, and I suspect that it's... Do I have everything I need for this? I need some stack inserters, which... Oof, that was close. Which means I actually need some gears or just iron plates to make some more. Need a bunch more stack inserters, and I think that's what's falling shy a little bit. We're actually missing a few stack inserters for that copper line as well, and I'm wondering if I should just do it now before I forget in a very foolish fashion. Start producing those, which mostly requires that you make many gears. Boom. Okay. That's going to be okay. Oh, apparently we'll need a couple of red circuits to finish that up. All right, so that's quite a few of those. We don't actually have any fast and yellows. Oh, right, because of course we need those for the rest of the process. Let's grab a bunch of that, then go and grab a bunch of yellow inserters. And I really should be producing the higher tier ones in an automated fashion at this point. All right. That should be plenty. We don't have an infinite amount of red splitters. So let's get that. Red underground. Sure. You know what? We'll do that. And yeah, thank you for filling up. That's going to be A-okay. I'm actually pleased with our current situation. This queue is going to use up some stuff over here, which is also fine. What I'll do is just bring that down so we get a little bit of spot. Okay. Where did I leave my car? Right there. Well, obviously, we'll need to set this up to use both sides of the train to load the iron plates later on, when we actually have enough iron plate production for it to matter. Because you got to remember, a lot of these are still just stone furnaces as well. I mean, we are planning on just expanding the sheer number of things, but even just with the set that we have now, we can go and increase the throughput a lot. It's just a shortage of input over here. And I don't think it's train travel time, although, I'm trying to remember, do we already have 2 trains delivering this? I don't think we do. It's a long enough route that we probably could have 2 trains doing the job. No, we do have 2 trains that are doing the job. So, it could be travel time, but I suspect it's loading time that we could trim back on. Although, it's possible... Yeah, it is loading time. It's possible that, well, we are going to have to expand as well. Let's go through here. If we check, these boxes are mostly empty. And, oh yeah, so clearly, if we get some fast inserters at this point, I don't think this side matters too much. This might be a little faster, but it's probably a waste of stack inserters. It's not the same as when we unload, where the stack inserters on both sides are clearly quite good. So what I want to do here is, we really don't have room to do what I want to do. And I mean, we could load this faster. Actually, part of what... If we just turn these into reds all the way... Nah, because it's the inserter delay that's the problem. Because this isn't going to last forever, right? I'm wondering if it's not that important to increase the speed at which we grab this stuff over here. No, you know what I'm going to do it? Because as it turns out, the 4 to 8 splitter is actually really compact. Yeah, it is actually really, really, really compact. To the point where... I wonder if we do need a balancer at all. You know what? I don't think we do. So we can really make this work fine. I mean, it might lead to slightly off stuff, but probably not. Like that. Actually have 2 over here, I think. Yes, and then we have... I've actually got this memorized at this point, even though I've only done it a couple times. It's actually a very intuitive pattern in terms of there's only really so many possible ways for this to link up based on what I know it's composed of. See, there's only... Like, that's it. That's literally the only way this sort of thing can sort of fit together. So then if we do this... And like that. And then we go underground. To the other side. Whoop! God damn, that was close. And on the other side, we're doing... the same sort of thing where we've got 4 stack inserters and those, and then just the speedy ones, and this can just go like that. Like that. And like that. How come this was never a thing that I had to concern myself before? Maybe it always was, and I never noticed that I wasn't truly using all the throughput in the appropriate way. But there we go. We should be loading up these trains a lot faster now. And I think it's going to become much more noticeable after a few train loads that will probably end up with a little bit of backlog in the steel chests right now, because right now it's not happening. And oh yeah, this... Whoop! That was close. There we go. We can just do the fast ones over there, and that's going to be fine. But yeah, because we're still waiting on the swings everywhere. Again, we could use all 6 or something like that, but I think this is going to be fine. And again, it probably wasn't as critical to do over here, because ultimately what we want is a second mine, because this one's only going to last so long. Now, let's rebuild our defenses. Oh, let's drop a bunch of iron ore in there. Let's rebuild our walls. Like that. You've got the overlap, and then up at the top as well. And I don't think we need to place the guns again. Walls. What I may want to do is grab a bunch of bullets out of the car and do some reloads. Yeah, these probably don't get used. It's all down here, including some yellows, which I can't pick up right now. Right, there any chance that cleared up an inventory spot? No? It's annoying. Okay, drop you, so that I can pick up a bunch of these yellows. And... red, red, red. There. And then, do I still have yellows somewhere in here? There they are. Cap you out, and you. Oh, I really don't have enough of these. Alright, I'll just give you some full doses of the yellows. That's going to be okay. All right, good. And see, you're out. We're already starting to use a few. I mean, mostly on the edge. And you can see this is all full. So it really is the throughput over here waiting. These are loading much, much faster. And if we can end up with actual backlog in these chests here, then these trains really won't have to wait very long. But yeah, as far as I can tell, these trains should literally just be loading twice as fast now. And anyway, that will help keep our iron and steel. I mean, our steel's fine because it's actually 100% backlog. Most of their iron plate production is the thing that's been hurting. And then if we check over here, we have a full 100% saturation on the green circuits that we're not doing anything with. Okay, so now finally we can maybe actually go back to our red circuit production plan. Still have to bring some copper in here at some point. It doesn't need a ton of copper. And we might just be able to leach some off the green circuit line in some sort of quasi-awkward way. I suspect that we probably can. We can probably just do something as simple as, like, listen, we're going to go and steal half the production from here and half the production from here. I'm willing to bet that that's going to be enough for the reds. I think, because I don't think we need as much crazy stuff. Plus, we are going to, like, mostly backlog as long as we get these shipments properly. We might need twice as many trains dropping off copper. In fact, that's almost certainly the case. All right, so let's figure this out. I don't think we need to go with any funky, cool kind of layout. Although, I still kind of like the octagon. So the octagon idea is that in the center, I don't have the layout around, but in the center you've got the thing that is making like the copper wire. And then you've got a bunch of things off of the center. That are pulling in the copper and making the red circuit while you have plastic going around. I don't know. What do we need for this? And yeah, I think it's 8 to 1, unless they change these numbers. You need 4 copper cable every 6 seconds per circuit. Well, you get 2 per second. So in 6 seconds, we produce 12. I think the ratio did change. Hang on. It takes 6 seconds to produce a red circuit. In 6 seconds, we will produce 12 copper. But you need 4 copper per each, so it's actually a 1 to 3. It's 12, so 1 copper production will feed 3 red circuits. Interesting. So, what do we want then? Well, part of me is like, well, let's just get something. Do we need to dual-sided? Not if it's like a little local production. We could do something. I don't know if this will work layout-wise. But conceivably, you know, we could do something like that. And like that and like that. We need to feed in the plastic and the green. But you don't need as much of both. It's 2 and 2. So as long as you had something that carried both plastics and green, you could loop around this. But it feels annoying to place. It'd be easier with robots. But since I'm not working with robots, I kind of want to do everything just linearly. So let's assume then we're going to have plastic and green on each side of this. We're going to have to figure out where these green circuits go. I might actually go and build a little further outside. Yeah, let's do that. Well, I guess I could have just, yeah. So, plastic and green. Let's assume something like that. I've got plastics on me. go. And this thing will have copper plates on both sides that come in from somewhere. Maybe from some sort of underground. Something kind of like that. Wait, hold on. This is not going to be the copper. This is going to be the wire. Well, imagine then that we end up... Let's say we've got 4 of these. That's too close. 4 of these, and these things are making wire. And let me fill them with plates. And they're emptying like this. So if each one of these can do 3, that was the correct ratio, so that means we can do 12, which means, or 6 per side. The one gotcha, though, is that the speed. I think the reds swing at 1 per second. Oh, which is fine, because it takes 6 seconds to produce, and we only need 4 seconds to grab from the opposite side, which is the same for both. We don't even need any fast inserters whatsoever. You can just... Oh, that's interesting. That's probably... I'm sure these ratios have all changed. I might be on crack. It's entirely possible. But I think these are all different from before. So if I'm vaguely right in any way whatsoever, in fact, I don't even think we need red belts here at all. I mean, unless we wanted to make these twice as long. Let's get some power. That'll power the whole thing. I mean, assuming you have a connection. So you'll be producing that. Something like that. I don't know. Whatever. I think this will produce red circuits, like, perfectly fine. And again, I mean, I guess I can use some yellows. I got some on me, so what the hell, right? These will only dump on one side. That's okay. It's 1 every 6 seconds, so we can use yellow inserters. They go on the far side, so I think that will connect correctly. If I've got my mental mapping correct. Small poles, maybe 1 for each one of these. Grab, grab, grab. And our power situation's still fine. So, I don't think I'm wrong, which is surprising. Now, this is my plastic drop-off, right? Yeah. So, let's build our setup for this. And we will... Well, I don't think we're going to need a crazy amount of plastic, but we might end up building on the other side. But, I mean, we can just add that later. We've been doing that all along. And we do know that the stack inserters unload faster, so we may as well do that. Let me get a big electric pole. Like that. And a medium one there. Let me get... that. And dump some plastic. Like this. And they'll be balanced in some fashion later on. But for now, they'll mostly be balanced depending on like what our demand turns out to be. But if we get you coming down here, you are going to keep producing red circuits. And it feels weird, but I think this is fine. I could probably... you need a lot of this stuff. I think we could make more than that and not actually oversaturate. I'll obviously want to like move things around a little bit because this spacement, English much, is a little derpy. We can actually build it all in line because what I could do. So let's say I build another one over here. These two can be the coppers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Because this can be the copper plate input to here, and then here's the red circuit output that way. So everything can be on one side, which is kind of sexy. I guess the one slight silliness is that one side would... I guess we do everything with blues to unload, because they are faster. That? Although then it unloads the same side. Ooh, hold on. Come on, there's got to be a way to do this, right? So... fuck you. Alright, so that's something like that. Oh, I guess we'd put in a little bend, actually. I guess we'd do it sort of the opposite way around. Because this is going to the far side, and that would do this, and then we just do something like that. No, I'm doing exactly the same thing as before. There must be a way to do this. There you go. So you're going to place it... No, the far side stays the far side. You'd have to almost do... Oh, but that'll just bend. So we actually have to go further. No, there's no way. I'm just having a brain fart. There's got to be a way. So this places it on... Yeah, so this would work out. There's got to be a better way to do this. I'm convinced there must be a better way to do this. But in any case, that gets us copper on both sides. And then over here, this is perfectly sufficient to... Oops, not quite reach there. To reach there. Whereupon we get some sort of input. I should probably just, like, you know, Google to see what kind of layout people are using for this. Am I in crack? No, I got it. There's got to be a reference to it somewhere. But I used to make the octagon sort of setup. I'm sure 8-to-1 used to be correct. Well, if I was sure, I guess I wouldn't be talking about it nonstop. All right, let's get over it. So I think something like that is going to be the case. Now, we do have to get some plastics over here. I think I talked about just, like, belting it over there. It might be a little far. And obviously, we're going to have a plastic drop-off here in the future from a bigger production line. And honestly, this might maintain the bigger production line. Because it's going to need coal, right? Well, we got coal over here. And later on, there's going to be a coal train dropping off coal here, so we could still route some over to plastic, and this can just keep feeding off the gas over here. Why wouldn't we just keep producing the plastic here all the time? So I think that is actually going to be the case. We are just going to produce the plastic there. Let me get this hooked up. So we're going to build a little plastic train station over there. We're going to have to figure out exactly how we're going to fit everything in when we want the oil train station. But I suppose we could always do like a big, don't die, a big underground pipe for the oil, you know, a little ways away. Underground pipes are really easy to run to an area with a little bit more space to build our train stations. Like, there's different options. It leaves that little ghost image there for some reason. Maybe because of just where I happen to be starting things. That's probably it. Okay, that's all wired up. Let's get some signals now. We're gonna need some more train signals. Exit. 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 Entrance. This would be a lot safer to do If I did have the mod that adds a bunch of range to the control. But I am running with no mods whatsoever. Okay, there. You're all done. Plastic drop-off. This will need power, and it needs the rest of the connection. But I'm going to... I mean, I suppose I could... Because I did drop off a bunch of plastic there. I could wire the rest and let the plastic I dropped off get started. But no. I'll go and get the plastic to start being delivered properly over here. And then we'll figure out the next step. Hold on. Did I bring my car over here? I did. So I should bring my car with me. There's a train. Where are we going to do that? Plastic here. How are we going to get on here? Unless we like redesign these things with a four-way, which I'm not sure I can reinsert. I suppose I can have the plastic train station down here and go down there. Same thing's going to be the issue with the oil. Like, we've occupied our track like mad over here. We don't really have room to add more unless... I don't know... Because I could do four-ways. The problem is, I don't know if I can change this T intersection into a four-way intersection. Maybe. I suppose there's strictly nothing stopping us, because it should cross through just fine. And maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need a pattern that is exactly the same size as the three-way. That's just the four, and then that would be better. What's the timer at? I guess this is a fine place to put in a cut. I will look up, I will do some tests and figure out the layout over here. But yeah, because... Don't die. Because, I mean, from here... Is there any reason that wouldn't work? I guess the big question is, what does the through look like? Can we just do this? I don't see why not. Working out the signaling and whatever might be a little bit annoying, although I'm still being lazy with the signaling as is. The signaling as is sufficient for the trains not to get stuck. I think. Again, I might be wrong. We'll find out when there's more traffic. Especially with these intersections that are really close together. I think that's the case. I just don't think it's as optimized as it could be, and it will require some trains waiting a little bit more. Yeah, so I mean, I'll have to work out all the different angles. There we go. To make sure that you can go in every possible direction. And so from here, if you want to go north, and from here, coming that way, and then, from here, if you want to go that way? Fuck. That? Yeah, okay. From here, if you're traveling east and want to end up going north. We don't have that. Where would be the best way to run this? Here, let me do a shift click here. That's not very appealing. Okay. If you're going east and you want to end up going north, like, we gotta fit in a bend here, but, like, I don't know if there's room. Okay. That's what I'm mostly concerned about. And if we're going south and we want to go east, we've got that. South to south, south to west. We've got all that. North to east, north to west, we don't have. It's going to be the same sort of, like, ugly ass shit. There we go. North going west. North going east. North going north is fine. West to north. Oh, west to north, west to west, west to south. I did south, I did north, east to north, east, east, east to south. I think that's all in there. What the hell? So we have rail signals on the exits, and chain signals on the entrance. So this is all one big block. We can confirm that if I drop a railroad, a locomotive here, input, 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 all the inputs are blocked. So as any train is in here, regardless of direction, it blocks all trains from going through, which is, again, fine. Not necessarily optimal, because it's entirely possible for some trains. Well, at this point, honestly, I don't know that it's possible to set these up in a way that's not all Fouquet. It's also not symmetrical, although... Actually, I think it's horizontally symmetrical. If these middle tracks had been drawn slightly differently, it might be horizontally symmetrical as well, but I think this works. But yeah, what I'll probably do is get rid of a bunch of the intermediary chain signals and end up with an intersection that is, I think, functional, though probably not quite as flow-through-y as possible. I want to cancel that because I can do... No, don't export to string. Because I can do this a little tighter. There we go. Because this should get all the signals. No, it doesn't. It didn't get the top signals. This is very annoying. And actually, the autosave, I think, screwed up my escape key there. There you go. If I do this, it looks like all the signals are in there, but nothing extra. Create the blueprint. Drop you in there. All right, well, we'll definitely put a cut in here. We're clearly going to have to run some tests to make sure we haven't foobarred the whole thing. Yeah. Oh, see, not enough copper output still. I suspect it's not lack of copper. Well, it's probably lack of copper input. Yeah, we're not fully saturated in inputs, and they're not all working here. Because, again, these are all steel furnaces, so they do run pretty darned quick. But we don't have, like, a critical shortage of copper, is the important thing. There's not even a train waiting there. So I suspect it's waiting to unload, which is okay. Unless again, it's stuck somewhere. As far as I can tell, they're all just waiting at stations. Now, they might be waiting at stations and, you know, not have a... Can I pan in and actually see the train? No. And there's nothing on the interface that confirms whether or not a train is stuck. If I tell you, listen, go to the copper plate pickup. Now, you're fine with that. And you're going to go through this intersection, which will behave basically as expected. Yeah, we're good. All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.